Good day, everyone. We have a very, very special short attention span webinar. We could not get Kelly Mallozzi to show up for this, but we've got a special guest here, a soothsayer of the exact same name. Kelly, I saw somebody recently who said, "You're so mean to Kelly. You're constantly throwing things at her like, all right, Kelly, you explain this."
I feel like I should put on some kind of like Hungarian accent or something. Start rolling my R's.
Hey, that was good. Well, what we want to talk about today, Kelly, is the buying philosophy. Here's the thing. I look at a company. Somebody says, all right, here's a prospect, or I read them in the Wall Street Journal, or I get them somewhere. I want to know ahead of time. I want to look into the future, and I want to know what kind of experience I'm going to have with that prospect. So who better? Who better?
There's me and my crystal ball.
You were having a good hair day there, kid.
Wow, my nails look really good, too.
All right, Kelly, so here's the deal. What do I want to know when I'm looking at a prospect, and how do I find out? Okay, so put on your turban, look into the crystal ball, turn up the music, get the incense going, and tell me.
Well, there are so many things that we're looking for when we're looking at a company's website and doing our pre-call research and really preparing ourselves. So what we're looking for are some clues, some hints, some kind of indications when we look at the website just from our very first impression. How do I suppose I'm going to be treated by this company? So it seems a little like, can I really discover that by looking at the website? But we're going to talk about a couple of examples here real quick. So because we would love to, wouldn't we always love to know before we walk into a company, what are they going to think of me? How are they going to view me and value me? And what's their approach going to be as far as how they treat their vendors and view their vendors? Does this company fit me? Does their buying philosophy match my selling philosophy? And also, does their selling philosophy match their own selling philosophy? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what is this? What is this website telling me? Am I going to expect to get beaten up on price, or do they look like the kind of company that buys based on something other than price? So it sounds like a lot of information, and some of you out there might be going, there's no way I'm going to know that just by looking at their website, but we're going to show you a couple of examples here and look at kind of some of the intricacies of these things that are kind of those unspoken kind of visual clues for what these websites are telling us about these companies.
I've got goosebumps. How did you know we were going to look at a couple of websites? That's just, you must be a soothsayer.
It's the typical way. It's the typical way to do this. Because again, the website is really where we look to learn about the companies. So this first one, I look at this and this to me screams like Crazy Larry's, guitars or something. Like, you can see that there's prices slashed everywhere. You could just imagine if these guys were doing a commercial, it would be some crazy guy in like a cowboy hat yelling about how nobody beats his prices, nobody. So this tells me their selling philosophy is that they are the low-cost provider, so their buying philosophy very likely is that they are looking for printers who are low-cost providers. That's pretty much what it tells me.
All right, so looking at this then, the assumption that you're making is if they buy on price, they sell on price.
Right.
Okay, all right, so company number 2.
Right, so this one, as I'm looking at it, it just has, I think we can all agree, it has a much more polished, more finished kind of look to it. It looks more professional. It looks like it appeals to an entirely different kind of customer. This, to me, looks like somebody who deals with commercial builders and probably interior designers and architecture firms directly. And it's just got that kind of sensibility to it, and it clearly looks as if they deal with much larger projects. And again, right there in the front page of their site, top quality flooring in Kansas City. It talks about featured projects being, the Performing Arts Center at the Kauffman Center. You see down at the bottom that they belong to the Builders Association, the National Wood Flooring, and I can't quite see it, but I'm imagining that that's some sort of green council or something where they're telling you that they have a commitment to the environment, probably to sustainability. And what we know about things like that is that those are typically premium, more expensive offerings because people care about things other than just what something costs. They care about what it means. They care about what the results are. They care about preserving the environment, doing the right thing, things like that. So this website tells me a lot about the kind of company, and I could imagine walking into their showrooms or their company headquarters and it being a very beautiful, very peaceful, very professional looking environment.
And the way I would use information like that, I think, Kelly, is to say, I'm going to use that in my pitch, right? I'm going to say, I was on your website. Yours is a company of quality.
Mm-hmm.
And ours is as well. We're family owned. We've been in business for 47 years. People do business with us generation after generation. That's the way you tie those two things in, right? That's
right, absolutely.
That's how you're going to use that information. If, on the other hand, it's about price, then just know that up front. It's nothing that I think you need to bring up, but just know what you're getting yourself into. The hard part, and maybe this is where this information really plays, is when a company of quality and seeming integrity starts beating you up on price all the time. And when, their words don't match their actions. And Kelly, let me ask you something, and look at your crystal ball. Is that something that you would bring up to the customer and say, basically, hey, you guys are talking out of both sides of your mouth. You buy on price, but you sell on quality?
It certainly might be, and you might find a little bit more of a diplomatic way to say that is, again, focusing on, let's really talk about the reasons that how you make your buying decisions and why and what those results are. Because what I tend to find, and especially when I was selling printing, when a company would tell me, look, we always get 3 bids and we go with the lowest one. Yeah. And I would say, what kind of impact has that had on your business? Well, again, you're just trying to encourage people to be honest and really look at what the impact is of those kinds of decisions is. Well, sometimes it doesn't necessarily garner the best results, but sometimes it doesn't matter. That's another situation that we find ourselves in too, is that sometimes the quality of the piece doesn't matter, and maybe those are the kinds of cases where you say, then that is not really an example of working with my strong suits. However, when you find yourself in a situation where you're working on a project where quality is absolutely important and you do need ideas and you do want somebody to be, a trusted advisor and a resource, I am absolutely positively your go-to.
Okay. All right. Kelly, that was great. That was great. If you can look into the future next and let us know what the lottery numbers are, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, give me a call. I'll let you know.
Oh, that'd be great. And maybe in the next short attention span webinar, we'll give you those numbers. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for checking in. And we'll talk to you again next week. Make sure you go online and check out the archive of past webinars that we've got. Lots of information, lots of tips. But thanks for checking us out today. Take care. Great job, Kelly. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.